What's going on, everybody? I wanted to do a quick addendum film room, an additional piece here to what I posted yesterday on Danielle Hunter by including the matchup that he had against Lions right tackle Penei Sewell in Week 10. It wasn't included in the original edition because they just didn't face each other a whole lot. Although going back over it, I feel like it is worthwhile putting it in here and providing some analysis on it because it is really interesting, even though they barely faced off against each other. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So in this game, Danielle Hunter started rushing over the left tackle. And this is something that he typically has done, I think, in the majority of games this year. He starts over there and then he'll come over to the right side, usually either in spurts or, kind of permanently. It just kind of depends. I think it's real game plan specific. So in this game, this is the first rep that they faced off against each other on. And they only faced each other 3 times in a true one-on-one situation in pass protection the entire day. And the Lions passed the ball 30 times. Hunter did line up over Sewell about 5 or 6 total times, maybe 7. But on a handful of those, they didn't engage in any meaningful way. So really, it's 3 reps that we have to work with. So this was the first one. I'll go ahead and play it and just focus in over here and check out what happens. So rare high quality pressure, rare because he beats Penei Sewell, who's the second best right tackle in the league, in my opinion. And this is just as unorthodox and unique of a pass rush move as you're going to ever see. This is something that you'll probably only ever see from Danielle Hunter. It's super rare, just the way that he just from start to finish. We'll break it down. So Sewell is obviously setting aggressive on him, and you could see that he, sort of drifts right and oversets here. He's actually going to correct this in a really meaningful way on the third rep, the third and final rep that they see each other on, which we'll get to at the end of the video. But here he's setting aggressive, right? It's a play action pass. So he's trying to close that space and get on him quick, kind of sell run, but he winds up drifting. And part of that reason is because of what Hunter does and how fluid of a response time that Hunter has on this. It's pretty spectacular. So focusing in on Hunter here, let's check this out. Immediately out of his stance, the first step that he executes is a stutter. So he's literally getting out of his stance, stuttering outside, planting, and then going inside, which we could see right here, and he hops inside literally. And then from that hop, his footwork's outstanding. He executes an outside spin, which by and large, outside spins rarely work. Usually they're kind of frowned upon, I think, in the pass rushing world. You throw them out there once in a blue moon and hope, you catch a guy off guard. Not necessarily hope. I mean, there's obviously an art to it, but it's just one of those things that just doesn't usually work out very well. I think usually because it takes too long to execute. But in this case, it was used at the perfect time. This is the first time that Hunter has pulled this move out the entire year, to my knowledge. So, you can't get too upset here at Sewell losing as bad as he did. This is maybe the worst loss of his career on an individual rep in terms of the decisiveness of it. But again, just what Hunter's able to do here in terms of immediately going to the outside stutter, inside with the hop, and then hitting that outside spin, landing that ice pick right there on the back of Sewell. And I mean, look at this position right here. This is Penei Sewell, all-pro right tackle, that is in this position, literally facing nobody, totally dusted. But this is a really nice, just kind of a traditional sort of spin in a sense of hitting that ice pick right there. So if you could just imagine, the spinner, in this case Hunter, on this right hand has an ice pick there, and he wants to hit the pass blocker in the back with it, and that's sort of the finishing touch on a traditional spin, just a core element of the technique, and you could see that executed perfectly right there. And what that does is it really kind of boosts him past the blocker, creates some momentum for himself, and completes the turn in a really meaningful way. And you could see, the rest is just close in on the quarterback, and that's I've said this a few times already this year, but that's one of the filthiest moves you'll ever see. And I've said that a few times about Hunter specifically. So this is the second time that they faced in the game. Obviously, a new drive later in the game. First play that they've seen each other on this drive, and I think the only one on this drive as well. Danico Autry primarily lined up over Sewell in this game. But check out what Sewell does in this one. This is a kind of a technique that's used sparingly, I would say, by some guys more than others. This is typically one that's reserved for more veteran sort of guys. However, I've just posted a clip on Twitter a few minutes ago, actually, of Jaguars' second-year right tackle Anton Harrison utilizing a fake jump set, sort of a different version of this against Danielle Hunter. So you see it here and there, but this is kind of a David Bakhtiari special. Teron Armstead, Jason Peters used this. Actually, Peters used this against Chandler Jones. You could search that on my Twitter handle, and it's kind of interesting because Chandler was very similar to Danielle Hunter. But that's kind of an aside. So let's check this out. Let's kind of break this down a little bit. And it's just a really nice job, especially because earlier Sewell set aggressive on him, right? And so he's setting aggressive on him here again, but he's retreating. So that's the fake jump set element of it. And it elicits the response that he wants, the underhook, which is Hunter's signature move. And you could see Sewell's strike timing is outstanding right here. He punches that shoulder and disrupts it. And then right here, Hunter has to break away, and it's sort of it's done because the ball is out so quick. So it's a decisive win for Sewell. Obviously helps, with the quarterback not dropping really anywhere. There's no depth or anything like that he has to, contend with here. However, a fake jump set, perfect follow-up right there. I mean, that's a, an A+ rep there from Sewell, and a really nice way to change things up. So this is the third and final rep that they faced each other on. And we'll go ahead and play it so you could see it all the way through. And you'll notice this is a very similar sort of approach and execution, at least kind of in a general sense, as to what happened on the first rep, in terms of there isn't a play action fake here, but Sewell is setting aggressive and closing space again on Hunter. The difference is he has help, right? This tight end alignment right here helps. It sort of condenses and boxes in Hunter a little bit right here. So he can't just scream off the edge if he wanted to do that. That's kind of taken out of his bag here, so to speak. So it sort of confines him a little bit, which is nice. So he has that help to it, which is good context, I think, to consider. However, Sewell also does a nice job of not drifting here, and you can see the difference in this jump set compared to the first one. It's much better. He still closes space, but he gets that strong base, doesn't close too much space on it. And again, great timing. It is a two-hand strike, but it's one of those kind of those 6-inch punch type of strikes, right? Where if you miss, you're not going to lunge, as opposed to, a lot of two-hand strikes you see, guys are trying to kill the rusher, right? And if you miss or you're off target, you could get into an overextended position very easily. So Sewell strikes with power here, but it's a quick strike, and you could see him retreat there, right? His head is out of the block. He's not overextending at all. And then he follows up with some independent hands, right? So he disrupts the move, the underhook right here. There's an attempted underhook here, but because he struck first, he's able to create that space, jolt his head back, follows it up with the outside hand to kind of keep him at his fingertips, and he wins the rep. So despite losing in a kind of an embarrassing way, to be honest, in the first rep, and you can't really blame him either with how disgusting that move was, Sewell follows it up on the only other 2 reps he has against Hunter in the entire game with really nice technique, with the changeup, the fake jump set, and then this jump set with the 2-hand strike, light hands, independent hands, reset, all that type of stuff disrupts the move. So I wanted to make sure I at least got this in here to really, I guess, put a bow on the Danielle Hunter, experience, the Danielle Hunter breakdown of the season, to get really all the meaningful reps in there. So I'm going to add this to the original post on Substack, and I'll also go ahead and post this on social media for you guys as well.